Carter Bryant's quietly becoming a problem. And I mean quietly, because this is not the Spurs rookie everybody's screaming about yet. Dylan Harper gets the headlines, Wemby gets the alien treatment, Stephon Castle gets the tough guy respect, De'Aaron Fox gets the veteran guard conversation, and Carter Bryant sitting in the corner like, alright, cool. Keep looking over there. That's what makes it dangerous. The best kind of problem is the one the league notices late. Right now, Bryant feels like that guy. Not the loudest rookie, not the one casual fans bring up first, but the one coaches watch for 3 possessions and go, hold on, why is this kid already blowing up our offense? That's where the conversation starts. If you love basketball and you're one of the 90% who watch without subscribing, it's time to join the NBA Inside family. Now let's get the obvious part out of the way. Carter Bryant's not being treated like the main story in San Antonio, and honestly that makes sense. Wembanyama's Wembanyama. The guy looks like someone built a basketball player in a lab, forgot to turn off the wingspan slider and said, yeah, ship it out. Harper's the shiny new guard. He has the draft slot, the handle, the downhill juice, and the kind of game that makes fans start fake trading veterans before breakfast. So Bryant gets pushed into the background. But you know what? That might be the best thing for him, because while everybody argues about Harper, Fox, Castle, and the future of the backcourt, Bryant is quietly building a role that winning teams need.
Harassed by Carter Bryant, the rookie, but then Dunn spins past him. Great recovery though, Bryant.
A big wing who defends, runs, cuts, blocks shots, plays hard, and doesn't need the ball every 5 seconds to feel important. That sounds simple, but it ain't. Every team in the league is looking for that player, and the Spurs might have one. The first thing that jumps out is the frame. Bryant looks like what a modern NBA wing is supposed to look like. Long arms, good feet, real explosion. He's not some skinny project waiting 3 years and 12 protein shakes. He looks physically ready. That matters because defense at the NBA level is not just about trying hard.
Very impressive, Vince. When you had to Bryant, this is unbelievable.
Effort's nice, but without the body, feet, timing, and instincts, effort turns into sprinting around and fouling people. Bryant has real tools. He can slide with wings. He can buzzer guards. He can rotate from the weak side. He can close space fast. And when he gets off the floor, it's not a polite contest. It's the kind of jump where the offensive player starts rethinking the possession. That's why the OG Anunoby comparison comes up. And I get it. When people say OG Anunoby but more athletic, they're not saying Bryant's already OG. Relax. Nobody needs to call Toronto and apologize. They mean the shape makes sense. A strong defensive wing, big enough to guard up, quick enough to survive down, dangerous as a cutter, useful without needing plays called for him. The type of guy who makes stars more comfortable because he handles the dirty work. That's a winning archetype. And for San Antonio, it fits almost too cleanly. Because when you have Wemby, you don't need every young player to become a 25-point scorer. That'd be nice, sure, but that's not roster building. You need balance. You need connectors. You need defenders who keep the floor stable. You need guys who can survive playoff matchups without the coach hiding them like a bad report card. Bryant has a chance to be that. That's why he's becoming a problem. Not because he's taken over games with 30 points, because he makes the game easier to organize. On defense, he gives San Antonio another long athlete who can make mistakes less expensive. And next to Wemby, that's a cheat code if used correctly. If Bryant pressures the ball and gets beat, Wemby's behind him. If Bryant rotates early and forces a bad pass, the Spurs are running. And now the defense has Wemby trailing like a horror movie character nobody can outrun.
I kind of like Victor getting another 3-ball there because he's knocked down 2 in a row.
And he just swatted Brunson.
Bryant makes those possessions possible. There's a clip going around of him getting 3 blocks in under 30 seconds. And I know highlight clips can lie, but that clip mattered because of how the blocks happened. Timing, reaction, second jump, recovery. That tells you something. A lot of rookies have athleticism, but not all of them know when to use it. Bryant already has flashes where the timing looks real. That's where I start getting interested. Raw athleticism's fun for a dunk contest. Defensive athleticism's different. You have to be early without gambling, physical without fouling, aggressive without losing your assignment. Bryant looks like he's learning the normal play first. That's a very Spurs thing to do. Annoying, but smart.
That he could be effective. Marshall, high arcing floater, no. Rebound secured by Bryant.
Now offensively, we have to be honest, he's not a finished scorer. He's not some plug-and-play star where you throw him the ball on the wing and say, "Go save the possession, kid." That's not his game yet. The handle has to tighten. The jumper has to become more reliable. The self-creation's not there yet. If teams run him off the line, the second dribble and decisions still need work. That's real. But here's the thing. He doesn't need to be finished to help. He can cut, he can run, he can crash. He can hit open shots if the defense ignores him. He can attack a tilted floor. He can dunk when the defense forgets he's hiding near the baseline like a tax bill. That role matters next to Wemby and Harper. Stars bend the defense. Role players punish the bend. If Bryant becomes a reliable corner shooter, cutter, and transition finisher, he becomes one of those annoying playoff wings who steals points while everyone watches the stars. Every great team has a guy like that. The guy opposing fans hate because he hits the open three, grabs the offensive rebound, or gets the deflection that changes a quarter. That's the lane Bryant is walking around. And you know, this is where the ceiling debate gets funny. Some people say Danny Green, elite 3 and D type, bigger, stronger, a winning role player with playoff value. Other people go all the way to Tracy McGrady. Now listen, that's a big jump. That's taking the elevator to the roof and saying, yeah, I think I can fly. But I understand why people get excited. Bryant has the size, fluid movement, bounce, and body that makes fans dream before the jumper fully arrives. For me, the better question is not whether Bryant becomes T-Mac, can he become a high-level defensive wing who gives San Antonio enough offense to stay on the floor in big games? Because if the answer is yes, that's already huge. With Wemby, Harper, Castle, and Fox, the Spurs don't need Bryant to be the whole meal. They need him to be the piece that makes the meal work. And right now, that's what makes him so interesting. He can grow without demanding the franchise that they change everything around him. He can develop inside winning basketball. He can learn from mistakes without needing 20 shots. He can defend now while the offense catches up later. That's valuable. That ain't hype. That's team building. And it's why casual fans might be late on him. Casual fans notice the scorer first. The guy with the ball, the step back, the flashy pass, the big box score. That's fine. Scoring's loud. Defense is quieter. Cutting is quieter. Good positioning is quieter. But coaches notice. Teammates notice. And once a player like Bryant starts showing up in playoff minutes, everybody else starts noticing too. That's how these guys become problems. Slowly, then all at once. First, the scouting report says, don't leave him in the corner. Then it says, watch his cuts. Then it says, don't throw lazy passes around him. Then it says, maybe stop attacking him. And once a young wing reaches that point, he's not just a role player anymore. He's a matchup issue. That is what San Antonio's chasing. A lineup where Wemby protects the rim, Castle brings pressure, Harper gives downhill creation, Fox speeds the game up, and Bryant ties the defensive shape together. That's a ridiculous young foundation. Seriously, at some point the rest of the league has to ask, who approved this? The Spurs already got the generational big. Now they're adding guards, wings, defenders, athletes, and all these annoying long players who look like they're grown in the same basketball greenhouse. It's getting rude, and Bryant's a big part of why. Because if he hits, San Antonio's ceiling changes. Not because he becomes the number one option, because he makes the stars harder to attack. He makes the lineups bigger, faster, nastier, more switchable. more annoying. That wins in May and June. Stars, yes, but you also need the guys who survive targeted possessions. The guys who don't panic when a star hunts them. The guy who makes one extra rotation, take one bump, contest one shot, then run the floor. Bryant looks like he has that kind of DNA. Still, the patience part still matters. He's not done. He's not polished. He'll have nights where the jumper's off. He'll have rookie fouls. He'll get lost on a back cut, bite on a pump fake, and make the coaching staff stare into space for 3 full seconds. That's normal. Young wings are messy, but the foundation's the point. And Bryant's foundation is exactly what smart teams bet on. Size, defense, athleticism, effort, feel. A role that makes sense. A team context that doesn't force him to become something he's not before he's ready. That's why Carter Bryant's quietly becoming a problem. Because while everybody else is watching the bigger names, he's becoming the type of wing every contender tries to find later and usually has to overpay for. San Antonio might already have him. And if the jumper keeps coming, if the defensive timing keeps sharpening, if the confidence keeps growing, this gets uncomfortable fast. The Spurs don't need Carter Bryant to be the face of the rebuild. They need him to be the guy opponents forget about until he ruins their night. And honestly, that might be even worse.